Hello everyone and welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. If you haven't been here before, my name is Mark. I'm a retired Kiwi bloke. I'm a huge rugby fan and I'm living here in beautiful Cancun in Mexico. Welcome to today's show. Well, I've got to say that I'm pretty happy today after reading the All Blacks team to play against Japan this weekend. I'm finally getting to see some of the players that I've been wanting to see all along. And good on Scott Robertson. He's done the job as far as I'm concerned in a lot of positions for this particular game. Still some question marks over some players, but let's get into the team selection now, give you my views and opinions. And as always, I'd love to hear yours in the comments, so make sure you write those down at the end of the video. So let's have a look at the All Blacks team that Scott Robertson has named to play against Japan in the weekend. And I'm very happy with a lot of these selections because I've been asking for these throughout the season. Better late than never, I guess, in some of these places. Now, starting off in the front row, let's have a look at the forwards. And first of all, we're going to see Taimati Williams, Asafa Amur as hooker, and Tossi as the other prop. And this is a fantastic front row as far as I'm concerned. I'm glad that Amur is getting a chance to start this game, and we'll see what he can bring against this Japan team. But as we know, Taimati Williams has been going very well throughout this season's campaign for the All Blacks, and I'm also pleased to see Tossi in there as well. So a very good front row for me to start this game for the All Blacks. No complaints whatsoever. Love to see how these guys go, and I'm very pleased they've been given the opportunity. This is also showing Scott Robertson's hand, I think, when it comes to the selections against England, but we'll get on to that in future videos. Now moving on to the locks for the All Blacks, and we're going to see Sam Dowry on one side and we're going to see Patrick Tuipulotu on the other side, and Tuipulotu is going to be the captain of this All Blacks team. And this is a fascinating move for me because it could be a little glimpse into the future for the All Blacks. And Tuipulotu has been out, of course, because of injury. He's coming back into this team, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he leads this All Black team around the park against Japan. Now moving on to the loose forwards, and of course the All Blacks have got those injuries to Papali'i, to Ethan Blackadder, and to Luke Jacobson. So in this game we're going to see Sapini Finau, we're going to see Sam Cane, and we're going to see Wallace Sititi at number 8. And a lot of us have been asking to see Wallace Sititi at number 8. So we've got to applaud Scott Robertson for shifting his loose forwards around and giving us the opportunity to see Wallace Sititi at number 8. All eyes are going to be peeled on him. I'm sure he's going to have a great game at number 8, and I'm going to look forward to seeing how he plays in that position. So there we go, that's the starting 8 for the All Blacks. I'm excited by this 8. I think there's a lot of talent there, and a lot of these guys I think are going to put their hand up to say, hey, I should be in those teams against England, Ireland and France. So let's see how this particular pack goes. Okay, why don't we have a look at the back line now that Scott Robertson has chosen to play against the Japanese, starting off with their starting back line. And we'll look at number 9 first of all, and it's Cam Roigard that's getting the nod in this game. And no surprise for me really, I think Roigard needs time to come back from that injury in the black jersey, and it'll be really interesting to see how he goes in the first period of this game until Scott Robertson decides to substitute him from the game. And then moving out number 10, this was always going to be an interesting selection for me because it gives an indication, I think, to what Scott Robertson is thinking about when it comes to that England, Ireland and France game. And it's going to be Damian McKenzie starting this game for the All Blacks at number 10. And for me, that gives us a signal that we're likely to see Beauden Barrett in the number 10 jersey against England, Ireland and France. And Damian McKenzie is either going to be put on the bench or he's perhaps not going to be included in the squad, but I'd say that he's going to be on the bench. So he's getting a start in this game at number 10. And then moving outside, we've got Anton Leonard-Brown at number 12, and I think that's a good move because we've got Billy Proctor outside him in the 13. And for me, this combination worked very well earlier in the year if you go back to the game against Fiji in San Diego. So I'm hoping that these two guys can carry on their combination as we saw then, and they gave a very good account of themselves in that particular game against Fiji. I'm thrilled to see Billy Proctor in this team, as many of you will be as well, and I'm very interested to see how he goes this weekend against Japan. So whilst I'm not a huge fan of Anton Leonard-Brown at 12, I think this is a good selection. I think Brown and Proctor did very well against Fiji earlier in the year. So it'll be good to see whether they can bring that level of energy and positivity and creativity to the All Black backline this weekend against Japan. I think having Mackenzie at 10 gives us the signal that Beauden Barrett's going to be the 10 against England, Ireland and France. We'll just have to wait and see how Scott Robertson manages that one. And then moving on to the back three for the All Blacks in the back line to start this game, and we're going to see Sevu Reece, Mark Talia on the wings, and we've got Stephen Perifetta at fullback, and I think this is a great move at fullback with Stephen Perifetta, and I can't wait to see what he can offer in that 15 jersey for the All Blacks. On Mark Talia and Sevu Reece, I don't think they've been playing well in the chances they have got this season. I don't think they're our frontline wingers at all. But again, I think Scott Robertson is giving us an indication now on where he's going to go when it comes to England, Ireland and France. We're going to see Caleb Clark, and we're going to see either Mark Talia or Will Jordan on the wing. Stephen Perifetta at fullback is a great one for me. I've been asking to see him there in the first game of the season. Now we're going to get an opportunity to see how he goes against Japan. For me, it's a thumbs up selection at number 15. So then moving on to the bench for the All Blacks in the forwards, and we're going to see the front row replacements of Bell, Tuanga Fussy and Fletcher Newell, and I think this is a really good combination to come in off the bench, and I'm very pleased to see that Bell's finally getting his chance in this All Black team, and it's going to be up to him now to prove what he can do in terms of having an impact coming off the bench. So I'm pretty happy with these three that have been selected off the bench for the front row for the All Blacks. And then the last two forward reserves for this game for the All Blacks are going to be Josh Lord and Peter Lakai. Another smile on my face to see Peter Lakai getting his opportunity and debut for the New Zealand All Blacks in this team. And it's going to be great to see the impact he has coming off the bench. And I think to start him off the bench is a good idea. I think he can have a big impact off the bench. And Josh Lord, for me, still needs a few more games in the black jersey to show what his true potential is. So I have no problem at all with Josh Lord coming off the bench. So there we go. That's the replacement forwards for the All Blacks. Let me know in the comments what you think. Anybody missing out that you would have on the bench for impact? Love to hear what your thoughts are around that one. Now moving on to the back reserves for the All Blacks in this game, and again a little bit of head scratching for me, but I understand I think what we're going to see in the future. We've got TJ Perenara, we've got David Havili, and we've got Ruben Love, which is fantastic. Perenara for me, well, you all know what I think about him. Too slow from the base of the scrums and too slow as far as box kicking goes. So either we're going to see Cortez Ratima coming into the bench position against England if Cam Roigard has a great game against Japan, or we're going to see TJ Perenara there, which won't make me happy at all. But we'll have to see how Scott Robertson is thinking on that one. When it comes to David Havili, I'm not a fan, and I question why he's in this All Black team at all. But let's see what he gives off the bench in this particular game against Japan. I'm not sure we're going to learn too much in terms of our bench positions from this particular game. And then Ruben Love, this is fantastic that he's been given an opportunity also to come on in this particular game, and he may come on in the number 10 jersey or in the number 15 jersey. So watch out for Ruben Love and his impact on this particular game. So I'm very happy with his selection in this team. So overall, I'm pretty happy with some of these positions we're seeing. I think he's done a good job in the forward, Scott Robertson. I think it's great that he's giving Patrick Tuipulotu the opportunity to captain this team. It's been one of the Achilles heels, I feel, of the All Blacks so far this year. And it's going to be interesting to see the leadership dynamic and how this particular team goes against Japan. And even though a lot of you will say, well, they're not as strong a competition as what Scott Barrett has been up against in the championship so far this year, we are going to see how Patrick Tuipulotu handles this team from a leadership point of view. And that's one of the things I'm very interested at in this game. Now, I'm a lot more excited about this team than what I thought I was going to be. I think there's a great number of good selections here. I'm very happy with the front row to give these guys an opportunity what they can do and to see whether or not they can put any pressure on the other front row that we've been seeing for the All Blacks so far from a starting 15 point of view. Very happy that Patrick Tuipulotu has been given the captaincy for this game, so that's something else I'm going to be watching. and I'm absolutely thrilled to see Wallace Sititi at number 8. So these are good things for the All Blacks. Cam Roigard needs a run at number 9, so I think that's a good start. My question mark is, why is not Cortez Ratima in this team at all? But there may be a ploy there to bring him on the bench in the game against England and have Roigard start that game. If Roigard plays well in this particular game, we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out. So of course we're going to be keeping our eye on Damian McKenzie at 10, see how he goes. Although he's obviously not going to have the kind of pressure on him I wouldn't expect that he would against an England, Ireland or French team. We'll just have to see how he goes against the Japan team and whether or not he's given enough time when it comes to his attacking plays to be able to use and set up this All Black backline. The number 12 and 13, interesting to see how Anton Leonard-Brown and Billy Proctor are going to go together, so my eye will be kept on them. And also the other big interest for me is Stephen Perifetta at fullback, whether or not he's going to be able to put his hand up for some selection against the top teams. And of course Ruben Love coming off the bench, that's the other exciting question mark that I've got as well. So I'm pretty happy with this team, as you can probably tell. I'm really looking forward to this game because I think we're going to find some more answers for Scott Robertson as far as his selections go, heading into this tough schedule when the team gets over to the UK, Ireland and Europe. So the question for me now is, if any of these players have an outstanding game against Japan and they put their hands up for selection against England, Ireland or France, is Scott Robertson going to do it? Is he going to give them that opportunity? And that's what I've been asking for in these previous big games, because I think if these players who have been on the peripheral, the younger players, if they're given their opportunity and they show what they can do, like we've seen from Wallace Sititi and we've seen from Cortez Ratima, then is Robertson going to be game enough to put them up against the top teams in World Rugby throughout this tour of the All Blacks? That's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be looking for. I'm a happy man. I've seen some of the positional changes I wanted to see. Now it's up to those players to perform and show us what they've got and whether or not they should be given the opportunity. Now let me know in the comments what you think of this All Blacks team. Go through all the players that are there. Let me know the ones that aren't there that you would have liked to seen getting a game against Japan. And also let me know what you think Scott Robertson's going to do in those key positions against England. And I'm talking particularly about number 8. I'm talking about the number 9 and 10 and also the number 15 for the All Blacks. Interested what you're thinking about those particular ones. Okay, so there's not many days to go before we kick off the All Blacks Northern Tour with this game against Japan. I'm going to be making plenty of content of the 22 games we've got coming up over the next 5.5 weeks. It's going to be absolutely fantastic stuff if you're a rugby fan. And if you love my content, why not hit the subscribe button, stick around here on the channel Inside Rugby with Mark. I would love to have you as part of our global rugby family. Okay, until next time, it's time to say adios from beautiful Cancun in Mexico. Make sure you stay safe, stay well everybody, keep enjoying your rugby across the world, and I'll see you again very soon in the next video. Until then, it's bye for now.